Welcome to the Take Your Power Back show with Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach Kim Yeater. Today's empowering program will encourage you to step into your power, to take action in your leadership, and allow your voice to be heard. Listen in today as we speak to other freedom-loving Americans that are making a positive impact in the world by standing in truth amid adversity. Learn how to take your power back in your freedom, in your personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be inspired. Be encouraged. Be transformed. Together, let's take your power back with our host, Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach, Kim Yeater.
Well, hello there, my freedom-loving patriots. Welcome to the Take Your Power Back show. I'm your host, Peak Performance Master Coach Kim Yeater. Today's empowering program will encourage you to step into your God-given power, access your leadership, and allow your voice to be heard. In today's Take Your Power Back show, El Cajon, California welcomes ICE-SB54. Let me tell you what, this show is going to be an incredible show. El Cajon, California welcomes ICE-SB54 passes. Yes, it passed. We'll be speaking with El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells. The El Cajon City Council's huge win for the southern border town of El Cajon, California. The controversial anti-sanctuary measure SB54 passed amid much backlash with a 3-2 vote. So for you Californians who've been paying attention, and from you across the country who've been watching the sanctuary cities, here we go. The resolution was voted down 3-2 on January 28th with the promise that slight revisions would be made. This bill was brought back yesterday by City Attorney General Rob Bonta with a rewrite making sure that law enforcement was protected and notifying ICE when people are arrested for crimes. This bill debate centered around El Cajon's cooperation with the federal immigration enforcement. Local law enforcement's involvement with federal immigration enforcement had been limited in the past because of the California Values Act. That purpose, or the purpose of the California's Value Act, was to protect the safety and well-being of all Californians by ensuring that state and local resources are not used to fuel mass deportations, separate families, and ultimately hurt Californians' economy. The reality was our local law enforcement were being hamstrung and weren't able to do the jobs of protecting the people. So the new resolution, Mayor Bill said, isn't about going after illegal immigrants in schools or businesses just for being in the country illegally, but we're clear that we want to notify ICE when people are arrested for crimes. Amidst much opposition, Mayor Bill Wells argued that most residents support the resolution, citing 57% of El Cajon voted for Donald Trump into the 2020 election. Now, Bill Wells believes that working closely with border czar Tom Homan, ICE, and local law enforcement is key to keeping Southern California and El Cajon safe. Joining us for that powerful conversation today, and for those of us that are in San Diego, the super sanctuary city, we're going to have a powerful conversation. Is this the way to truly protect our border? We're going to take a moment, thank our sponsors who make the Take Your Power Back show possible. When we return, we have Mayor Bill Wells in the house.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented My Pillow. My Pillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King My Pillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic My Pillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
I love Mike Lindell and I love my pillow. Let me tell you, I just came back from Cancun for a business meeting and I was there for a few days. And do you know what I brought with me? I brought my pillow, the little mini one. It is perfect for my neck. So guys, go to mypillow.com/Kim. Get what you need for a great night's sleep. Now, I know that you know, and we know we're in the midst of economic warfare where we're spending our money, we're voting. When we said no to Target, when we said no to Budweiser and that woke mentality, we moved the needle. It's time for we the people to take our power back, guys. Take it back from the big box retailers, the Procter & Gamble, the Colgate-Palmolive, the Johnson & Johnson. These are the guys that feed into BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. If we're going to bankrupt the corrupt, it starts with where we're spending our money. Join me and the tribe of patriots across the country who've made the switch to an American manufacturer, debt-free, privately held, 39 years in business. Truly, they make over 400 products that are the best of science and nature. I took my power back 20 years ago. Take your power back today. Go to patriotsmade.com/Kim. That's patriotsmade.com/Kim. Make the switch today. Get access to your virtual tour so that you can powerfully choose. That's patriotsmade.com/Kim. All right, my freedom-loving patriots, money, 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 money. Do you got your gold? Do you got your silver? That is key right now. We are in a very interesting time in our world, and it truly is the most amazing time. Thank you, Jesus, to be alive. You can experience joy when you've got Jesus. So let me tell you what, I'm making sure that I am secured. And God is my security, but I've got to be wise and steward what he's given me. How I do that is I'm investing in gold. I'm investing in silver, not just the paper gold and silver. No, I'm talking having it physically in hand. There is a organization, a company that I trust called Verity Metals. That's veritymetals.com. They actually partner with local depositories in your state, in your county, where you can have that gold and that silver sent to so that you have key access to get it when you want it. Actual gold and silver. And if you want to lock down safe in your house, you bring it into your house. Go to veritymetals.com. Matt Geiger is a dear friend. He will guide you through and set this up to support you, whether it's your IRA, your 401k, you will be secured and set up for success. Go to veritymetals.com. Let's put that big M over me. I love that big M. veritymetals.com. Reach out to Matt Geiger. That's veritymetals.com. All right, guys, here we go. I am so excited. Welcome back to the Take Your Power Back show. Today's show, El Cajon, California, ICE. El Cajon, California, ICE is ice in the air. Let's say that twice. Hold on, let me back up. El Cajon. Try to say that 3 times. El Cajon, California welcomes ICE. That's right. SB54 passed yesterday. This is huge for Southern California. This is huge when it comes to securing our border and taking our border back. Y'all know that Take Our Border Back reached tens of millions across the country. We worked internationally with Canada, Veterans for Freedom, and our pastors in Mexico, praying up Mexico, praying up our borders, declaring safety, declaring closed borders. Well, somebody that I would believe is on that praying team is Mayor Bill Wells. He is a mighty warrior. He is a stand for truth. He is moving on to, I gotta say, not just bigger and better things. He's using his skills to move into positions that will actually move the needle of protecting the city of El Cajon and the state of California. We're going to welcome in Mayor Bill Wells. Bill, welcome to the Take Your Power Back show.
Yeah, thank you for the nice introduction. I appreciate that.
Well, Bill, I have to tell you, you were one of those people that I respect. And not that there's not a lot of people I respect, but Bill, you do what you say you're going to do. You have a heart for the kingdom of God. You've been all over, whether it be Fox TV or CBS or NBC, you have been all over the airwaves. You have been standing for closing this border. And the vote yesterday was a pretty big deal. Why don't you catch us up on the importance of that vote and the importance of that vote for Southern California?
Yeah, so the state of California has made it illegal for us to cooperate with ICE. We're not allowed to answer their phone calls. We're not allowed to give them information about people that we have in our custody. We're not allowed to use the tools that they provide to get dangerous people out of our community. And we think that's wrong. As you mentioned, that's all because of a California bill called SB54. Now, SB54 is in conflict with the federal government's law, which says anybody who aids or abets an illegal person, or a person who is illegally in the country without proper immigration authorization, they're committing a federal crime. So you've got the feds who are saying, if you don't cooperate with us, you're committing a federal crime. You've got the state of California who's saying, we're going to pick and choose which laws we like. We don't like that law, so we're going to make our own law, which says if you do cooperate with the feds, you're committing a crime. So municipalities like mine are just caught in the middle. But it seems very clear to me that the laws of the United States supersede the laws of the state of California. The United States Constitution.
That's right.
Has a supremacy clause, which says exactly that. Of course, the leftists will say, "Oh no, we went to court, and they said that we could do this." Well, that's true. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the most highly overturned court in the history of courts by the Supreme Court, has said that because they're left-wing activists as well. Eventually, it's going to get to the Supreme Court, and then we're going to have this done. But in the meantime, the city of El Cajon wanted to signal our desire to cooperate with the federal government. And we're hoping that other cities like Huntington Beach and other cities in California that are not as left-wing as people think all of California is, they'll stand up with us and put more pressure on Newsom and Bonta to do what the will of the people is, and that is fix our border problem.
I love it. It's key right now that we truly fix our border problems. So I am so curious. I was at the Board of Supervisors meeting, in the midst of that whole vote with us becoming a super sanctuary city in San Diego, which is absolutely nuts. So, Bill, I'm curious, how is this going to impact San Diego? And because we're neighbors, El Cajon is San Diego. We're right there.
Well, I mean, what the Board of Supervisors done might have a significant impact. They have an $8 billion budget in the county of San Diego. Now, that comes from the federal government. I met with Tom Homan. Tom Homan was really clear with me that if you take a position that you're in opposition to the will of the federal government has no obligation to give you any money. Now, a big portion of that money that the county of San Diego gets is from the federal government. So they're taking their politics and they're putting every person in San Diego's well-being on the line to make this political statement, which is going to be overrun anyway, because the federal government, whether they have California's cooperation or not, they're sending ICE agents. They're going to be arresting and deporting criminal people that need to be deported.
Okay, I got that. So you've been having quite a few conversations with Tom Homan. It's funny. I feel blessed, that we have, before any of this started, I've had Tom Homan on interviews. We've been in conversations. I've been on an airplane with, texting Tom Homan in the creation of the Take Our Border Back North America Alliance, partnering with Canada, right, in the Veterans for Freedom. I'm like, Tom, here's the deal. And he's like, I'm in. Just so awesome, right? So here's somebody who's been fighting for us, has been completely hamstrung by the former administration, right? And so now you're in communication with him, Bill. He is ready to support El Cajon and to take the southern border back. Tell me what those conversations have been like with Tom. What's your experience of Tom? And what do you see is going to actually begin to take place now that the bill passed yesterday?
Well, when I met with Tom, I found him to be exactly the same way in person that he was on television. He's a tough street cop guy. He doesn't want to take any BS from anybody. He's going to get this job done. And it's not just because he's a Trump loyalist. He is a Trump loyalist, but I don't think that's what motivates him. He was very clear to me that the safety of the people of America motivates him. And he particularly is concerned about the safety of the 300,000 children that are absorbed into the sex trafficking world. He wants to save those kids. I know that he's honest and realistic about that. And he's not going to let anybody stop him. He also knows that he's in the right, and that these hardcore leftists care more about their ideology than they care about actual human beings' lives. It's sickening to me. We had at our meeting last night, we had about 80 activists that came up and screamed at us, called us Nazis and fascists, and made up a lot of lies out of whole cloth about what our intentions were. And at some point, I just gave up even trying to educate them because they weren't going to listen to what was really happening.
Yeah.
And I wanted at the end of the meeting, I did ask them, I said, why is it you don't care about the 300,000 kids that are in sex trafficking? We had a woman in our meeting last night came up and said that her daughter had been kidnapped by an illegal alien, trafficked out for sex, raped dozens of times, and they got her back. But these 80 people that were there, they yelled at her, they shouted her down. And how can you do that to a mother whose child has been taken into sex trafficking? How can you be so committed to your left-wing ideology that you don't care about human beings anymore? You just care about pushing forward the ideology. And so I'm sickened by them, to be honest.
It is sickening. And they say you can't reason with somebody who is unreasonable. These guys are stuck in and just like you said, an ideology. They are stuck. It's like this recording that plays over and over and over. They're in an act. They're in an act, and they are blinded, unfortunately. Some of them may be being paid off. They may be working for somebody in the deep state. I mean, they do not have the agenda of securing the border. They don't have the agenda of protecting the children and truly protecting the people. They're using those things as a guise.
Well, just so you know, we had 6 different non-governmental organizations represented, all radical left-wing organizations that are making billions of dollars off the immigration industrial complex.
Yeah.
And these are the same people that are screaming and crying like they've got their heads cut off because President Trump is cutting out wasteful spending and ridiculous spending. It's all about the money. In the end, ideology takes backseat to cash.
100%. Thank you, Doge. Thank you, Donald Trump. I will tell you, we've been fighting for this border for the past year. Would Take Our Border Back. We put in a lot of work in that initiative. And we knew that, Bill, the border is just a bleeding over of the bigger agenda to take down this country. There's definitely a bigger agenda. So it's really key right now, I believe, that that people like you, we, the people, continue to stand up. The work's not done. It's really just getting started, isn't it?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, we are seeing a little bit of light for the first time in at least 4 years, probably longer. President Trump has come back with a mission. I think a God-inspired mission based upon his trials and tribulations. I think his eyes have been completely opened up, and it's not about him anymore. It's not about his legacy. It's about saving America.
Yes.
I know that sounds hyperbolic, but what you said before is true. These people, the people that are pushing for homelessness on our streets, the people that are pushing for open borders, the people that are pushing for women being pushed out of every space and taken over by transgender men. These are people that have at their core, they hate America, they hate Americans, they hate our history, and they want to tear everything down to its studs and rebuild it in a communist utopia. And like you, I think so many of us have just watched this, tearing our hair out over the past 4 years and fearing that it was over, that it was too late. And frankly, I think we came as close to being dead as a country as President Trump came to being dead from that bullet.
Yes.
It came a millimeter away from losing our country completely. And thank God we have a group of people that are in there that are willing to go to the mat and fight to the death to save us.
Yes.
And save our country for our children and our grandchildren. And I just want to do my small part for that. And so I want to make sure that California is not written off. We're not all crazy here. If you took Los Angeles out of the equation, California, Trump won California. There are a lot of common sense, right-minded people in California. The crazies all live in Los Angeles and San Francisco.
It's true. They bust them down. They bust them down, or they push them in through the border. You're absolutely crazy, and I'm going to go a step further to say that these leftists truly hate God. They hate God. They hate truth. They are rebellious, and I believe, Bill, that in a lot of ways this is happening because we, the people, allowed it. We have turned our backs on God. We've fallen into comfort. We've fallen into entertainment. We've been riding on the coattails of our forefathers, not realizing that our freedom was being taken away. Now, not that we intentionally did that. The Bible says to be in the world, but not of the world. But it's funny how that world can creep in so quickly. So this is such a warning to all of us. I think we've almost had to go through this so that we could truly turn our hearts back to God and take care of this incredible land that he's given us.
Well, I think that much of what you say is correct. There's an apathy that California or all of America has fallen into, thinking that I don't have to worry, I don't have to work hard, I don't have to fight for freedom. The schools are being run by good people, and the government's being run by good people, and the hospitals being run by good people, and and they've got our best intentions. And I think it's only been in the last 3 or 4 years that people woke up. I think COVID did a lot to help wake people up and realize that there's a lot of people that don't have our best intentions. A lot of people that were more than happy to see many of us dead, and certainly disempowered and have our freedoms taken away.
Yeah, Bill Wells, I just appreciate you so much. Listen, we're going to take a moment to thank our sponsors who's making today's show possible, but stay with us, Bill. When we come back, I want to have the conversation of follow the money. All the NGOs that showed up, we're going to have that conversation in just a minute. Let's thank our sponsors. All right, my freedom-loving patriots, what do I have here? I've got my tool. I love this. Okay, here's the deal. 20 years ago, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I know that kind of sounds cliche, but I had 4 kids. Thank God I still have 4 kids. I'm a grandma too. I've got one on the way. So exciting, not for me, but for my, my daughter-in-law, my other daughter. So 20 years ago, I was at a point where I was buying time for disc replacement surgery. I was a college basketball player. I was a kickboxer. After back labor with 4 babies, I was left in excruciating pain. They peeled me out of a car after my 10th visit to the acupuncturist. So can you imagine buying time for disc replacement surgery? I didn't want rods and junk in my back. So I did my best. I would pray, God, take away my pain. Well, let me tell you, my pain did not go away. It wasn't until the prayer, God, help me to be joyful in the midst of the pain. I have a fitness business. I have a coaching business. I have 4 kids. I've got a family to run, right? I got a husband. I got to be joyful. Help me to be joyful. It was then that 2 of my dear friends introduced me to the largest e-commerce health and wellness company in North America, 39 years in business now, the best of science and nature. They are Patriot American made, and they introduced me to the Peak Performance Pack Oligo technology. Why is that important? Because did you know Centrum, One A Day, Shaklee, Herbalife, that junk, those vitamins, even the stuff you find at Costco, Trader Joe's, and GNC have binders in them, chelate, sulfate, gluconate, fumarate, and oxide. They crystallize in the intestines. That leaves you with free radicals, which is the leading cause of inflammation, aging, and dis-ease. So I took my power back, and you can take your power back too. Make the switch today. Go to patriotsmade.com/Kim. Access your Peak Performance Pack with Oligo technology, the best of science and nature, mirrors, fruits, and vegetables, bioavailable, therapeutic dose of what you need. Turning the lights on. Bye-bye brain fog. 20 years later, Spartan races, sprint triathlons, mud runs. I just came back from skiing, and I have not done surgery. I say thank you, Jesus, and thank you to our patriotsmade.com/Kim resource. So go to patriotsmade.com/Kim. You're going to have access to a virtual tour where you can access your Peak Performance Pack 90-day money-back guarantee. That's patriotsmade.com/Kim. All right, my freedom-loving patriots, I love beef, good beef. I've had beef at Mar-a-Lago. I've had beef across the country at the best steak houses. I've grilled beef. I've cooked beef for my family. It was never as good as our never ever hormoned or antibiotic black label beef that you can access, guys. It is the best beef I've ever eaten. Imagine vertical integration, a ranch that's been around for many years. All the cattle here in America, they freely roam across 6 wild lands. And let me tell you, these calves are with their mama their entire life. This is the best beef I've ever had. I want you guys to access. Go to freedomsteaksnow.com/Kim. That's right. Take your freedom back. freedomsteaksnow.com/Kim. Get your ribeyes. Oh my gosh. Get your brisket. I mean, your ribs, they are the bomb diggity. That's freedomsteaksnow.com/Kim. Access your never ever hormone or antibiotic black label beef today. All right, my friend, General Flynn, guys, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to meet General Flynn or speak with General Flynn or listen to any of his shows, but let me tell you what, I'm actually looking for my book here. Oh, here it is. It's right here. It's right here. Let me pull it out. Boom. This is your guidebook. You want to tap on in. General Flynn just put out a movie not too long ago. It's called Flynn Movie. Now, that Flynn movie, his website, flynnmovie.com/Kim, flynnmovie.com/Kim, that's going to give you access, guys, to this book, 5th Generation Warfare. What we have experienced the past 8 years has been 5th generation warfare. The deep state is bent on taking this country down. You want to learn that this is not a kinetic war we're in, but it is a psychological war. Get the tool today, 5th generation warfare. It's humanity's fight against globalism. Go to flynnmovie.com/Kim. Get your book today. Now back to the Take Your Power Back show. Where'd my music go? I heard it disappear. In, out, in, out. Oh, we're on a ride today. I love it. Guys, welcome back. I'm so excited. Our show today is a powerful show. El Cajon, California welcomes ICE. Jump home and come on in. SB54 passes. Now we have local law enforcement that can work together with ICE to secure our border, our southern border. We are up against it. You got to see El Cajon is abutted to San Diego. San Diego, California is a super sanctuary city. If you haven't listened in to the shows I've done about that vote to become a super sanctuary city, go to my Rumble channel at Take Your Power Back Show. Now, with us today, Bill Wells has been discussing this bill that passed, working together with Tom Holman, and what this opens up for Southern California in keeping us safe. Let me tell you, how California goes is how the rest of the country is going to go. Bill Wells, come on in to the Take Your Power Back Show.
Hi.
Hi, Bill. Bill, okay, so we mentioned earlier, or you mentioned, Bill, that, all of these groups showed up to oppose this bill, and they were using the story of, we're not protecting the children. We want to go into the schools and take these children out. I mean, they are just using whatever they can to keep the border open, to harbor illegal immigrants that are criminals, and we're saying no to that. This bill was passed so that the criminals, the illegal immigrant criminals, can be taken out. Local law enforcement and ICE, Border Patrol, can work together. Now, one of the things you said was follow the money, right? So you got the NGOs there. Why are they there? What's the purpose of all this? Let's talk about that for a second. If we were to follow the money, what do you mean by follow the money?
Well, look at Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities was one of two organizations that was in charge of picking up every person that came over the border, processing them and sending them throughout the country with plane tickets and hotel vouchers. They're, strongly opposing this, and they're saying they're doing it on religious grounds. But again, they're not willing to talk about the 300,000 children that are in sex trafficking. They're not willing to talk about the Tren de Aragua criminal gang that is terrorizing America, raping and murdering women across the country. They ignore that. And why do they ignore that? Because there's a ton of money in it. I mean, and this is not just in immigration. One of my big focuses has always been homelessness. It plagues my state, it plagues my city because of the rules of California. And, most people say, oh, they're so stupid. They don't understand what they're doing. Well, I disagree. The people that run California are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's an unholy alliance. What happens is they call their friends, the Democrat politicians, call their friends and say, what you need to do is you need to get in the homeless business. You could be the person that sets up the hotel vouchers. You could be the person that builds housing. You could be the person that does the medical treatments. And we're going to give you tons of money. You can put yourself on your own board and make $400,000 or $500,000 a year doing this. You can hire your son and your cousin and your niece, and everybody makes their $300,000-$400,000. And all we ask is that you kick us back money for every election, so we keep Democrats in power for the time immemorial. And who gets hurt? It's the homeless people get hurt, and the people that want to live peacefully in California without homeless people on their streets. They're the ones who get hurt. We spent $25 billion on homelessness in the past 5 years, and the problem is twice as bad as it was 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So can you imagine if you ran a company that was doing twice as poorly as you were when you started, but you had spent $25 billion in the process? They'd fire you. This is just an example. The same principles apply when you're talking about people that are coming over the border. They've monetized it. They've made it into a big business. Everybody who runs this business is a left-wing Democrat. They give money only to left-wing Democrats. And there's really two goals, I think. One is to enrich themselves, and the other is to tear America down.
Yeah.
And mm-hmm. So when you see on people on TV coming up and saying, I'm so scared for my children because they're going to be ripped out of school. I really look into that. We found, like I said, 6 different NGOs that had bussed people in to protest it. There's Soros money involved in this.
Yeah.
people are being duped. And you know why? Because American people are good. They've got good hearts, and they want,
That's
they
right.
don't want to hurt, they don't want to hurt anybody. So
Yeah.
if you say, hey, you're hurting children, people are like, oh, I don't want to hurt children. I mean, I'm a good person. But they're being lied to. You're being scammed.
That's right. That's right, Bill. I'm so, that's the truth. These NGOs have been the way for the deep state, okay, illegal money to be funneled through, and even money that's supposed to be used to take care of our state is being funneled through these NGOs to pay for these illegal immigrants' housing. I mean, as we follow Doge and we start to see all of the worms come out of the can, right? We're like, oh my gosh, they spent millions on illegal immigrants. So these NGOs have been complicit. And, tomorrow we have a show called Operation Clean Sweep. And it's all connected. You see, Operation Clean Sweep Part 2, we did Part 1 2 weeks ago. And this was with actually retired Assistant Chief Sean Taylor and former City Attorney Bryant Kroll. This is exposing the federal civil RICO case where they are bringing to light the witch hunt against Millersville Police Department and Veterans for Child Rescue. So this is kind of a microcosm. The corruption that's happening here from, which is really systematic corruption, is everything from election fraud, voter fraud, geopolitical shifting, human trafficking cover-ups, fraudulent mortgages, hundreds of billions, if not of trillions in fraud and embezzlement. So we're looking at a microcosm of Tennessee, Millersville, but it is literally mapped out all throughout the United States. So what we're seeing is these NGOs, all this funneling that's been taking place. We have the murder board. Can you imagine, Bill, 16 years of the murder board, all of the connections and the evidence exposing it. That's why you're seeing Doge come out with these numbers and exposing everything. Now, on a local level, General Flynn says local action equals national impact, right? We hear that all the time. You're an example, Bill, of taking power back on a local level, showing up like you did, fighting for our safety and security. That is important. And that's what this microcosm of Operation Clean Sweep, this, Millersville, Tennessee is exposing, because if we can learn how to take our power back on a local level and use the federal civil RICO case as a template, then we, the people, begin to take our power back. And I think that is going to be so key. So just like you're saying, follow the money. Tomorrow's show is all about following the money, because the money says it all. So here's my question for you, Bill. Bill, is this going to change? Is this a temporary fix? Like, ICE comes in, law enforcement comes in, and they begin the deportation strategy. They begin working with those criminals. Do you think that this is actually going to shift what's happening in El Cajon and in the sanctuary city of San Diego?
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think there was a value in doing it. We are in a great unveiling period of time. People have been drinking from a fire hose for the past month. Mm-hmm. And President Trump's approval ratings are almost 60%. And the reason it is because people are being told what they've always suspected. People have always suspected these kind of fraud, waste, and abuse, and really the abuse of taxpayers and individuals who live in this country. They've suspected that they were the victims of that for a long time. And they've been told, every time they brought it up, they say, shut up, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're crazy, you're a radical lunatic. Right. Nobody wants to hear you. Well, they're realizing now that they're not radical lunatics, they're right. And this is going to give credibility to the entire movement of the other things that President Trump is trying to do. Like, take, for example, the water. I've been fighting water policy in California for 20 years now. Wow. I am beside myself with frustration that We don't give water to our farms, which feed 20% of the world. Like, what insanity would do that?
That's right.
President Trump gets credibility when he comes in and says, you know what? I'm going to change it. We're going to turn the water back on. And I don't care what you say, California. And California impotently says, well, you can't do that. So, oh, we just did it. And
It was amazing.
and that gives empowerment to regular people who say, wait a second, I'm not crazy. I have a voice. Other people who have some power are thinking exactly like I'm thinking. So we're going to see movement on the border. We're going to see movement in homelessness. We're going to see movement with water. We're going to see movement with taxation. We're going to see movement with China. We're going to see movement everywhere. Success breeds success. So yeah, I think we're going to see change. And I also believe that California is not lost. It was only in the mid 90s when Republicans controlled California. I don't know if we're ever going to be in complete control of California again,
Right.
but I think we're going to see a time in the short term where California is going to have a lot more political efficacy when it comes to conservative voices. And I know that Democrats are pooping their pants right now. They thought California was theirs forever. They could do whatever they want. They didn't have any responsibility. But you look at the fires that have just happened. You look at what's happening with homelessness, and they're saying, "Oh, wait a second! The people are rebelling. They're forming really just a rebellion against this idiocy." And so I'm more encouraged now than I've been in the past 25 years.
I love it. I love it. I love how you said success breeds success. It certainly does. It's time for we the people to take our power back. And I'd like to say, take your power back, California and San Diego. We've got to be the people who stand in the gap. That is the key right now. We take our city back. We take this state back. Bill, let's talk about the future. Okay. Where do you see us? Where do you see California a year from now? And then where do we see Bill Wells 4 years from now?
Well, I think the process of taking California back is going to take more than a year. It's going to be incremental. I think we're going to see us taking more assembly seats. We're going to see us taking more state senate seats. But probably more importantly, we're going to start taking more city council seats, more mayor's seats. I believe that San Diego County is in the process of doing probably the most important thing, which is taking back the Board of Supervisors. We've just had 2 Board of Supervisors who are radical leftists have to resign in disgrace. There is a chance that we're going to take one of those seats back in about a month and a half and make it a Republican seat. Then John Franklin is running up in the North County. That would be another Republican seat. I'm going to be running in 4 years. I'm already raising money for that. And keep another Republican seat, and then we'll have power, and we'll have control back of that board, and we can start taking that $8 billion and actually using it to help regular San Diegans in ways that will really affect their lives, and not radical left-wing ideological virtue signaling. And I think it's time. And I think it's not because I'm special or because the other people that are running are special. It's because Californians are starting to see, hey, wait a second. Trump is not Hitler. The Republicans are not trying to put us in concentration camps. They're actually trying to make our lives better so we can feed our families, pay our mortgage, have schools that actually teach mathematics and English and not transgenderism. Just like I said before, success breeds success. And so I do see the first step in taking back California is at the local level. And I think that's going to be happening more and more.
I love it. I love it. So good. And tell me what you're running for.
Board of Supervisors. So our current Board of Supervisor in my district is a Republican, but he's terming out. And I'm going to make sure that we keep that Republican seat safe.
Yes. That's so good. So good. Okay. So we have an opportunity right now to welcome in Tom Homan. Okay. So Tom is likely going to see this because you and I will get this to him. So Bill, what would you like to say to Tom Homan right now and to ICE?
Stay the course, my friend. We're all behind you. America needs you. This is an undeniably important task that you've been given. And it's not just a task for America. It's a task to save the entire world, because if we save America, the rest of the world will follow. So Godspeed.
Guys, so good. Bill, how can people reach you? What's the best way for them to support you with your upcoming running for board of supervisors and just knowing how to take action in El Cajon?
They can reach me at bwells@elcajon.gov.
bwells@elcajon.gov. We'll put that in the bottom of the information here for the show. bwells@elcajon.gov. Bill, thank you so much. It is a blessing always to have you on. And Bill, I feel like there's one more thing that I've got to ask you.
Sure.
Because you're a man that loves God, and you're a man that's all about his kingdom on this earth as it is in heaven. What's your word for the people right now when it comes to this spiritual battle that we're in and how to be prepared?
Courage. The time has passed where we're able to elect a guy like me and say Bill Wells will take care of it, or Tom Homan will take care of it, or Donald Trump will take care of it. Everyone needs to be in the fight. And I don't know what that means for you. That might mean writing letters to your elected representatives. It might be showing up at a meeting. It might be talking to your neighbors. It might be writing op-eds or making videos. But if you care about this country, you care about the future of your children and your grandchildren, and you care about fighting against evil, and you should care about that, then you got to get into the fight some way. Ask God to give you the vision of how you can fight most effectively. Yes,
so good. Bill Wells, thank you so much. Guys, please reach out to Bill. bwells@elcajon.gov.
I'd love to hear from everybody. Whoever sends me a note, I will reach back out to you. I promise.
Fantastic. Bill Wells, Godspeed. And thank you so much for being with us at the Take Your Power Back show.
Great show. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Such a blessings, guys. I mean, we really get to bring some of the most amazing people on this show. I personally feel honored and blessed to have somebody like Bill Wells reach out to me and say, hey, let's get on the show. Today's show, El Cajon, California, welcomes ICE-SB54 passes. This is a big deal for Southern California. Excuse me, I'm choking over here. It's a big deal for Southern California. And I'll tell you what, San Diego Sanctuary State, you better watch out. I'm here in San Diego. I'm taking my power back. And I know all my listeners in Southern California and my listeners across the country and the world right now, right where you're at. Let's stand in the gap. Let's take our power back. Let's get involved on that local level. I actually moved a show today. I had another show on today, an amazing person. She's awesome. You're going to see her soon. But because I knew the importance of local action equals national impact. I knew the importance of speaking to what's happening right now in the state, because, right now, what's happening in the city, what happens here is going to impact the entire country. So kudos to Mayor Bill Wells. Kudos to Tom Homan. We love you. We love you, ICE. We love our local law enforcement. We are in support of you. The Take Your Power Back show supports you, and we stand with you. Thank you for standing in the gap. When I look at Take Our Border back here, that's exactly what we did. We stood in the gap, and we will continue to stand in the gap. Now, get ready. Tomorrow's a big day. We have been waiting for this. What you're seeing with Doge is a really big deal. Now, listen, I know it's a big deal, but boy, is it a big deal. What we're doing tomorrow is the second part series of Operation Clean Sweep. Operation Clean Sweep Part 2. Now, I want you to join us. It's tomorrow. It's going to be at the same time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Central, and 1 p.m. Eastern. Our third segment is going to take place on February 20th at the same time. And you can find us at this link, rumble.com/take your power back show /live. We will have this live. Now, Operation Clean Sweep Part 2 is the federal RICO case. It's retired Assistant Chief Sean Taylor and former City Attorney Bryant Kroll uncover the witch hunt against Millersville Police Department and veterans for child rescue. exposing evidence of mass corruption on a transnational level, with tentacles far and wide from Canada to the Ukraine, the BRICS nations to China. From election fraud, voter fraud, geopolitical shifting, you wonder how they're stealing the elections, human trafficking cover-ups, fraudulent mortgages, how they're funding these elected officials, hundreds of billions, if not $1 trillion, in fraud and embezzlement. This truly is systematic corruption. So this civil federal RICO case opens the door for a criminal RICO case. Cash Patel, come on, Pam Bondi, come on, it's time. Let's pick up this as a criminal RICO case, because it's a template for all of us fighting corruption. Remember, guys, we are just getting started, and it's gonna happen. We, the people, taking our power back on a local level, we want to utilize a template just like this. So join us tomorrow. It's part 2. It's going to be incredible. Let's pull that up real quick. We'll pull up the flyer, the thumbnail of that. Let's get that up on the screen to give you guys a visual. Here it is. Operation Clean Sweep. It is tomorrow, February 13th, 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central, and 1 p.m. Eastern. This is the exposure of it all. So when we heard, Mayor Bill Wells talking about the NGOs, you have things like Act Blue, guys. That's one of the organizations that they have been funneling money through, as well as the fraudulent mortgages and using money there. So there's so many things you're going to find out. You want to see the evidence with your eyes. You're going to see the murder board tomorrow. So I'm so excited to have you guys join us. And again, thank you for being with us on the Take Your Power Back show. Thank you for being a stand for freedom. Join us every single Wednesday, this time, same place. We're popping in shows like tomorrow, Thursday, Operation Clean Sweep. And you can visit all of our shows on the Take Your Power Back show at our Rumble. And we're also at Real Kim Yeater on X. I always want to say Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at Kimberly Yeater. So with that being said, remember, my freedom-loving patriots, it's now time for you to step into your God-given power, access your leadership, and allow your voice to be heard. And remember this, God's word says, stand firm. Let nothing move you, not the squirrels, not this, not that, not this. No, let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because your work of the Lord is not in vain. And remember this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it out to the very end of the age. I love you. God bless you. This is Kimberly Yeater from the Take Your Power Back show signing out. I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Operation Clean Sweep, part 2. See you soon.
Thank you for joining us for the Take Your Power Back show. As Peak Performance Breakthrough Coach Kim Yeater speaks to other freedom-loving Americans that are making a positive impact in the world by standing in truth amid adversity. Listen in weekly and learn how to take your power back in your freedom, in your personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be encouraged, be inspired, be transformed as you step into your power and take action in your leadership and allow your voice to be heard. Together, let's take your power back. To sponsor and support the Take Your Power Back show, go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. That's takeyourpowerbackshow.com, and take your power back.